Hello and welcome to Wyecliffe in Conversation. Myself and Katia are joined by the artist Becky Smith, and we're going to chat today about the role of the gallery and the role of the artist in the art world. There's been a lot of changes over the last 10, 15 years, and I wanted to discuss the fact that when I was selling art 15 years ago, if someone wanted to get in contact with an artist, to commission or to discuss their artwork, they would normally do it at a gallery exhibition. Sometimes a gallery might put on some kind of artist appearance, or sometimes the gallery would actually get an artist to come in and meet the client actually at the gallery. So the way that the collector would interact with an artist would be through the gallery. Of course, now with the rise of social media, it's much easier for a collector to direct message, to go on socials, to comment, to actually engage directly with an artist. And it's quite interesting the way that's happened over the last 10, 15 years. And I wanted to discuss, the role of the gallery now, because is a gallery necessary? Can artists just sell direct? Can they go straight to clients? Is that a better experience for the client? Is it a better experience for the artist? I just wondered, obviously Kat, I wanted to reach out to you and see your views on this.
Well, I suppose to a degree I'm slightly biased in that I've been working galleries myself for I think 17 years. But for me, galleries still do have a platform and a purpose. I think primarily as a point of contact for the client that allows the client to be quite open with their consultant or the gallerist. Because if you're dealing directly with the artist, there's that, if you want to pick a piece of artwork from them or you want to commission something, you're going to have to delve into parts of the artwork that maybe you don't like as much. And so we become a bit of a conduit as a point of contact between the artist and also the collector. But I think that it's also really valuable that that we as a gallery can offer multiple artworks as well. So it's an important moment when a client walks through the door, because many of them will say, I don't know anything about artwork. So it's our role to try and not just teach them about the art, but kind of get them on their collecting journey as well. But I think specifically for artists, there's a benefit in the sense that we do quite a lot of the, I hope, heavy lifting on the side of the marketing and the logistics and the shipping, that then means that frees the artist up to be able to create. So I think it works on both sides, both collectors and artists, for me.
I think there's some really interesting points out. I think we should take them one at a time. The first one I hadn't considered, which is when an art collector wants to commission a particular painting produced. Obviously, if he deals with the Wyecliffe team, we have highly trained sales advisor art consultants who actually make that smooth as possible. And of course, we're trained to ask the kind of questions that we know we need to ask. Whereas an artist, their main goal is to produce the art. So obviously, Becky, as a multi-selling artist with a huge following, I know you're constantly being approached by your collector base directly. Just talking about commissions, do you feel that having a gallery there in order to organise those commissions, do you feel they make that a lot smoother for you, the process?
Yeah, definitely. Because if I was doing that all by myself, like Kelly, who obviously is the art sales consultant, she is so good with everything. When a commission gets booked in, she takes down the size, the colours, the brief, and puts it all in a document for me, sends it to me so they're all organised. Without having that, I would get so confused with all of them, especially if I'm getting like multiple messages a day coming through my social media. So to send it to you guys and get it done correctly, and just so I don't make any mistakes as well, because I don't want to get someone's piece wrong, because these commissions are obviously, a lot of them are quite personal. And so it's just like the organisation of it is like perfect for me.
Also being able to say no sometimes. We get clients come to us and they say, actually, can I change this? Actually, and obviously Kelly can speak to you about it. You can say, well, I've gone too far, I can't do that. So we're kind of like the ones that have to say that's now not possible in a very nice way to the collector. Whereas I imagine as an artist, you probably would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't like saying no for anything, but or sometimes as well, it's like subjects that I don't even paint, and people are like, can you paint my cat? Can you paint my car? And I'm like, oh, don't really know what to say to that. But yeah, having Kelly and you guys being able to do it softens like the blow, and it's also just like a bit more professional as well, I think. So
I think it brings in kind of like, it helps us to manage expectations on both sides, almost kind of like a broker in a way, trying to be like, because obviously we want to make our client happy, we want to make sure that they have the painting that they want, they deserve. Obviously we completely respect people's money as well. Like, we know that people work hard to make sure that they can afford these beautiful things. We want it to go as right as we possibly can, but we also need to be very protective of you, your style, your creative input. And so that balance in the middle is really important to us. And so it's I can't remember the last time that we had a commission that didn't run smoothly, because we spend a lot of time with the client trying to take down all those details that then come across to you, but then speaking to you and understanding what is possible and what's not. We do have to come to you and say, this request, we think it's probably a no, but can we double check? Kind of like, so, and it's that management that kind of, it's quite a delicate balance in the middle, but we've been doing it very, very successfully for years. And obviously you're very good, because many artists choose not to accept commissions, but obviously you really relish them.
Yeah, no, I love doing commissions. It's always good to work on something, and obviously, like I said, that some of them are really personal to people. So I don't mind, of course, when people message me about their commissions personally, but from like the organisation point of view and from just having everything run smoothly, it's so much like better for me to run everything through you guys and make sure it's all done correctly, just so I can do them perfectly.
Yeah, and those conversations take hours at a time as well. And obviously that's valuable time for you, where if you were managing it yourself, that's time where you're not painting.
And especially with my socials, where I have like such a high amount of followers, the messages are crazy when they come through. So trying to go through just every single message, it's just, that takes a lot of time itself. So then having to like reply to them all, sort out the ones that I need to send to you guys, it's just
it's a lot. It's a lot.
I mean, commission's obviously one part of it. I think one of the biggest issues for us is getting the artwork safely to the person to purchase the artwork. Logistics of that can be really, really tricky. That's why we have a team of people in the warehouse actually who are fully trained on what kind of foam to use, what kind of bubble wrap to use, because obviously use bubble wrap on the wrong piece, it'll indent, you can't get those marks off. Certain countries, you have to use certain kinds of wood on the crates that we export. So it's kind of all that logistical stuff. Also, certain clients are happy to order a painting and then when it arrives, it arrives. Other clients expect a pretty much daily update on where that artwork is, when it's going to arrive. We get certain artworks that need to be there for parties people are having, for presents.
Birthdays, celebrations, all of those things. So we have to take into account kind of like the timelines and deadlines. And obviously that's also working with you as an artist, whether it's a commission or whether it's a painting. Obviously, we have your secret studio collection where people have the opportunity to secure things that you haven't even completed yet. So it's managing their expectations of timelines and understanding if somebody were to purchase this piece, how quickly that they can have it.
Definitely. So logistics, obviously, we take that off the hands of the artist. I mean, many artists do sell direct, particularly that I find from social media, because they've got that direct connection with the client. And if they've got the capabilities to be able to do that and they've got the understanding of how to do that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I just feel a lot of artists think, it'll be easy, someone will buy it and I'll send it out.
I get asked it all the time. It's probably one of my most frequently asked questions is, why don't you just do it on your own? But realistically, if I did it on my own, I'd have to buy all the crates, all the packaging, I'd have to have photography, I'd have to have someone who could manage the deliveries, book them all on. There's so many aspects to it. Framing, because you guys handle all the framing if someone wants it done, and prints as well, because you guys help me with all the prints. So there's so many things to it.
Yeah, I think if you're an artist that produces one painting a month and it's very expensive and there's a queue of people that want to buy whatever you produce, then you could probably use a third-party logistical company to wrap and produce it.
Yeah.
But when you're an artist that is as successful as yourself and sells as much as you do, I mean, the editions, when they come in, they sell out and this place fills up with crates. And they literally go all over the world. And Susan and May, they are spending the next 2 or 3 days just tracking your sales internationally, which is really good because they are there for the clients, but an artist could never do that.
No, I think it would be tricky to say the least, particularly when you're handling, and let's say with one of your edition launches, So it comes probably in 2 formats, of which there are 25 each. So you're talking about 50 orders that are going to all manner of places all around the world, some of which need deadlines, as we already said, tracking details to each one of those individuals. And also it's the experience of, relationships with those collectors as well, because we want them to make them feel as special as we possibly can, because as I said earlier, it's important to us that they've taken the opportunity to purchase your artwork with Wyecliffe, and so we want that experience to be nothing short of brilliant. So it's all that comes with it as well.
The editions are quite interesting, aren't they? Because they've opened up artwork to people that as an entry point to collecting artwork, but also they are hand finished, they glow in the dark, you put all the time and effort into the work. So effectively as a purchaser, if you had a large wall, and some of your editions are very large, you've got the choice between an original, or you've got an edition for less than half that price, which looks exactly the same and has an awful lot of work in it. So as an entry point for your work, we find a lot of people start buying editions and then begin to look at the originals and then commissions. So we tend to find that's quite a strong journey. So also just dealing with that client and taking them on that journey, their collection journey, takes a lot of time. I mean, Kat and Kelly and the rest of the team here are often on the phone to clients for hours, discussing artwork, discussing where they need artwork for. Did you find as an artist that the people that are approaching you on socials are both these people for editions and originals and commissions?
Yeah, and also a lot of people who don't necessarily have, who haven't collected art before. So we list the editions of artist proof, luxury, canvas deluxes, and these collectors aren't always common. What's the word?
The terminology.
Yeah, they're not.
They don't know the terminology themselves. So there's an educational piece.
Yeah. So having you guys being able to explain all of that as well to the collector, part of their journey, getting them into collecting, it's really handy as well. Just a bit of knowledge behind kind of what the prints actually are, how they're embellished, and everything like that. And also with the embellishment. I remember when you first asked me about doing prints, and I was quite set on, I don't just want it to be a print that's just printed off the printer and sent straight out. I wanted kind of every single one to be unique, hand embellished, done by myself, so they're all kind of a little bit of an original in their own right.
It's true. I mean, we only sell embellished editions, but obviously some artists do very, very little on the editions. And some of the embellishment happens in artist studios, not necessarily by the artists themselves. But you've always been, no, I want every piece to be as good as it can be. And that's why you spend so much time on your editions. But again, I think a lot of what we're discussing today is about time. I think to actually be able to produce the artwork and deal with logistics and deal with the clients, their journey, and also after they buy paintings as well. I know that our team here will often spend hours and hours with a client talking about where they sighted the painting, how it looks at different times of the day, and often that leads on to what they want in the room around that painting. And that's quite interesting what Katy said, in the sense that an artist only sells that style of art that they do. When you go to a gallery, you get a vast, we have hundreds of artists that we deal with. So we have lots of interior design clients that come to us because we can fill in an entire property with art, and often they need it done very, very quickly, don't they? So that relationship to the gallery, suddenly you can fill all the different genres of art are available from us.
Absolutely, but I think it depends on the style of the collector, because with Becky's work particularly, you do tend to find we're shipping repeatedly to the same collectors, and they are creating their collections around your work. Because actually what's really incredible is that you've introduced them to art, that many of them may not have considered purchasing art as something that would be on their radar, because I think there still is this kind of mystique around the art gallery and the art world generally, where people feel like they can't be part of it because they don't know anything about art. And I think that's one of the brilliant things where artists on social media actually really help galleries, and it's this kind of lovely eco cycle between, because actually you're introducing art in a context and environment that they feel very comfortable on, because they're just scrolling all day, every day on their phones. And it's a way that they encounter it that doesn't feel threatening, because, many people that haven't walked in an art gallery before, their first thing is, I don't know anything about art. They think they're going to be pounced on. They think they're going to be sold to. They think we're going to look down our noses at them, and that's simply not the case. But I think that it is. It's kind of like it creates art in this to be in this almost like democratic environment where it doesn't actually matter how much money you have. You can still look, enjoy, and consider how you would style your home. And I think that's really important. And one of the things that I think is particularly important to your portfolio is the fact that you can start collecting, or when your prints first came out, I think they started about £130. Obviously with the amount of embellishment that now goes into them, they have moved up a little bit, but you can still start at £300, and they go up from there. But it kind of, I like that idea that anybody can collect art, and I think that's really important about social media and how that works with galleries and artists as a combined kind of like output.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I have like collectors who, like you said, they start buying the prints, and then they also have a collection of originals as well. And I also have collectors who have prints of every single genre of my work, not just like the skulls, but they have the space stuff, the trees, which is really nice. And just like the client last week, she sent me a video and it had skulls, it had trees, it had galaxy stuff, it had even some of the like Disney castle stuff that I've painted in the past. So it's just nice to see, and it's nice to start someone's collection off from the prints and then see the journey into the originals as well.
It's interesting because basically social media is the new gallery front window, isn't it? And the artist front window. And obviously when we moved here in Weybridge almost 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years in October, yeah. We're lucky enough the gallery here is on the corner of several roads, and it's very high visibility windows. But that was mainly, as soon as we opened, it was just people driving past, seeing artwork coming in. So we changed the windows, it would sell, we changed the windows, it would sell. But obviously as an artist, with social media, what you put up there is seen by millions of people. So it's not seen by thousands of people like we are here, it's actually seen by millions of people. So that reach is so much greater, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I think you guys know from the experience of my socials that when something does go viral to the millions and there is so many messages flooding in to the point where I can't keep up, you guys then come in like really handy for me. That's a massive perk for me having like the gallery on board. Because when there's like hundreds of messages, hundreds of emails, people asking prices, sizes, everything, and I can just send you guys every single email, and you guys just never miss a lead ever. I don't think I've ever had any issues with you guys missing anything, and you just handle them all for me. So
it's literally your hands on deck. It's kind of like Stephen Deal. You normally package the artwork, but for the next few hours, you're going to be chatting to people that they're asking what size it is or whatever. So yeah, we all jump on because there are literally tens of thousands that come through. It's the only way of doing it. It's just that everybody just stops what they're doing, just cracks on and deals with those clients because they are. What again, like Kat says, what they are, sometimes they're completely new buyers, and new buyers to any art they've never considered art before. Because even if they had driven past the Wyecliffe galleries and seen something in the window, they probably wouldn't have come in because again, they feel that worry that they're going to come in and we're going to pounce on them and all of that, which never happens. We get people that walk in this gallery once a week just to have a look around. They've never bought anything, and they're more than welcome. We just make them a cup of coffee and have a look around. So, but on social media, they see you in your videos and they feel that they're reaching out to you, which they are, and that's a lot more comforting for them than parking and walking into a strange gallery. So they're so much more likely to reach out.
Yeah, and I love speaking to collectors online, just telling them about like, look, people ask about my journey, and also they get to see how the pieces are made, which I think is quite nice. So I show like pretty much everything on my social media from start to finish, even to like delivering it into here, and all the stuff behind the scenes, like filming the podcast today. It's already on my social media. So it's just nice for them to see the whole journey.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's part one of the In Conversation over. So we'll be back shortly with part two.